Kevin Reynolds. This is a good one. I would never have picked this question for myself. This is a producer Phil question. Kevin Reynolds, how the fuck do you look so good? Thank you. I will take that as a compliment. How else could you fucking take that? Genetic. I think I'm just predisposed to be fairly slim and fairly tall. I think that helps a lot. It's certainly come in handy when you go to gigs and you can see what's going on. I will say I look this good at my age because I was a very, very unhealthy and I would consider ugly young man. So I think if you actually, me and Phil were talking about this, if you're gorgeous when you're young, chances are you're going to go downhill. If you're not so gorgeous when you're young, I think you've got a good chance of growing into your face. It happens a lot in movies. You know, Jack Nicholson, Tommy Lee Jones, happens a lot with people. Max von Sydow, he always looked old. And I've always loved that in actors and of course musicians, but you don't get a lot of it in music because I think people get signed based on their looks and then they go downhill. Also, I used to look terrible because I used to drink and take drugs, which never make anyone look that good. Keep you thin, granted. But I had a fat layer on my whole abdomen because of the amount that I drunk. You cannot drink and not get that fat layer. At some point I realised that this is not going to go well. I started getting to an age when my body started hurting and I'm thinking, this ain't going to be the way I'm going to go out for the next 40 fucking years. Aches and pains, fuck that shit. So I decided to start getting healthy. Thing about getting healthy, as I've said before, is you're not just training your body, you're training your mind. And a healthy mind really does shine out of your face. I found that if I'm in a shit mood and I go, I could just accept this, I could go to bed or I could start drinking early and just get rid of the day, I will go, no, fuck that, you ain't going to do that. I'm the boss. You're getting up in the pain room and you're lifting some fucking weights. And I've got to the point where that is my day. I enjoy negative thoughts because it lets me put my training into practice. And I tell myself, you're full of shit, I'm the boss, you're going to fucking get out of this. I think that's had a lot to do with it. Obviously, you can't have a healthy mind with an unhealthy body. I do believe that unless you're fit and healthy, your mind's going to just follow the same trajectory. So I exercise a lot. I walk Maggie a lot. I train. I try to lift weights every day. And it's not to get a beautiful body, it's to get a beautiful mind. But it works. It works. You do tend to go, fucking hell, I've lost that fucking booze belt that I've been wearing for the last 30 or 40 fucking years. And you start getting a bit of a shape and your jawline and all the rest of it. I think I owe my looks down to the fact that I was an ugly young man. I'm getting better looking with age, or at least I'm growing into my face and getting a bit more craggy. And I never thought I'd ever live to see a day where someone said, you look like Johnny Depp. And I've had it for a few people, and I've had my mum and my sister, they're Geordie women, so they're not predisposed to give too many compliments. You look like Johnny Depp, and I can only assume that because Johnny Depp was paranormally good looking when he was young, and he's getting older, and he's drinking, and he's starting to look like an elderly fella. Still looks great, but obviously not as good as he did when he was in his prime. I look better than I did when I was in my prime, so I think I'm meeting him. he's on the way down and I'm on the way up, and we're kind of meeting on the way. But I think it's a fleeting thing. At some point, I'm going to look like absolute shit, and he's still going to look like Johnny Depp. But I'm having a purple patch where I'm looking good. If I can keep this up, stands to reason I will look and feel good for the rest of my life. Because I don't believe that your body gets old. You let it get old. And you get old when you allow your body to get old. It's kind of, synonymous with each other. Diet is really, really important. I used to eat a lot of shit. As a lot of people who've been, tour horses their whole life, you don't get healthy food at 2 a.m. in Britain. You get fucking service food. It's chips. You get kebabs or pizza because the only place open when you eventually get out of the venue. Now I take food with me and I can, stock up on protein and realise that I'm eating too many carbs. So I think the secret to looking good is cut down, if not out, the carbs. Up your protein intake, exercise every day, every single day. especially on days you don't want to exercise. They're the ones that you've got to really train your mind to do what you want it to do. And you've got to get out and get some water. You've got to get the cardio in. But getting a healthy body, the human body can withstand a lot of stuff. The skeleton likes to move around. So if you bear that in mind, if you keep moving your skeleton, it's going to lubricate it, it's going to make it seem a lot better. And there's something about walking when you can feel every muscle in your body, no matter how big or small they are. And I'm not a big guy. I don't want muscles. I just want to be healthy. I don't want to feel like shit is basically my reason. But when you can feel your shoulders when you walk, it makes walking much more enjoyable. When you can pay attention to the moment, which is the way the mind comes in, pay attention to the moment, your footing. And I live in a very rocky area, and I love climbing things. And the Buddhist thing is, don't look at the top of the mountain when you're climbing, just look at the next foothold. I enjoy watching my feet, stopping myself from falling over, and I really enjoy that. And it was from a video I saw where it's this kind of pyramid-shaped Buddhist temple. And there's these ropes, there's kind of footholds, but there's these ropes to help people or help tourists get up the side of this. And as they're pulling themselves up with great difficulty, they see a Buddhist priest just walking up, just they're fucking twice the pace that they're going, walking up this thing. And I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? And now I know it's possible because he's not looking at the top. These people look at it fucking miles away. He's just looking at the next foot and giving thanks to every footstep that he's taken. So again, healthy body, healthy mind. You've got to exercise gratitude at all times, and you should be grateful for your health. And when you're walking, be grateful for every footstep that you're taking. It also helps you stay in the moment. So yeah, that's why I look so good, because I work at it, and I want my life to be better. I want, the way it was going was awful. And it's hard work being miserable. It's hard work being healthy, but at least you get something out of it. There's fuck all in being miserable. So yeah, life is hard work. Put it into positive endeavours. Lee Scott says, I'd love to see a show where you played your personal favourite songs from across your albums. All of them. Wildheart, Solo, SG5. Would you enjoy it, and do you think the crowd would? Well, I'm hoping to coincide a commercial release of It Came From the North. Because I know you, hopefully you've all got your copies now. If you haven't, please don't tell me, because it's the most depressing fucking subject in the world to be reminded of COVID, really. But I like the idea of doing a show, one big show, which is just a 3-hour show of all of the solo stuff, including SG5 and Mutation and Ghost in the Tanglewood and all the Hey Hello, as well as the solo album material. I would love that. Do I think the crowd would like it? I think anyone who's followed my career and likes the solo stuff would love it, because they're hearing songs that I'm never going to play with the Wildhearts. And I don't believe in cross-pollinating in those two worlds. I think the Wildhearts is at least for me, the Wildhearts is a very specific thing, and the crowd is a very specific energy. And I want to engage them in the only way I know how, by playing songs that they know of the Wildhearts. But I would love to do, an extended solo show where we just played everything from the first solo album to It Came From the North. And I hope to do that this year. I might do it on my birthday, actually, because I used to enjoy the birthday gigs, kinda. I used to enjoy the audience reaction to them, but I hated how much work went into it, and the fact that I was still having to rehearse during the day of the show, right up until doors opened. So I'd been rehearsing with different people for 2 days before the show, and then I'd be rehearsing with everyone on the entire day of the show, which would be the longest rehearsal. And then I'd have to go up and sing for 3 hours, and my voice at that point was absolutely shot. So my confidence was affected by that. So I'd love to do something that was properly rehearsed, and then, have a rest, maybe a day off before the show, and then a big solo extravaganza. And maybe, because I've just put it out into the universe there, maybe it will happen on December the 17th. But obviously, if anything comes of it, you will know. But yeah, I'd like that to be a thing. Maddie Lewis says, do you still want to go where the people go? And also, where have the people gone? Well, Maddie, I don't want to go where the people go. I think it's obvious where the people go now with social media, especially with Twitter. I won't call it X. is people go where the fucking hatred is. People go where they can vent their spleen on any subject in the world, regardless of whether it matters for them. I think the human race was designed to be lazy. And I think life is about suffering. Also, life is about remembering the source. You know, you are a soul, and I don't like using the word soul because it sounds like it's all individual. Like we've all got our own soul and we can fucking, that's mine. I believe that consciousness views the world through you, but it voluntarily comes down here, understands that it's going to forget everything about being omnipotent or shapeless or whatever. So it's up to us to remember that. You can only remember where you come from by positive thinking. There's no way you're going to remember it by negative thinking, because again, just perpetuates this negative element that goes through society and almost stops people progressing, and stopping people progressing gets involved. It spoils the evolutionary process. I get a funny feeling that the next 100 years or so is going to see at the end, or maybe a couple 100 years, the end of the human race as an experiment, a fun experiment that didn't work. Because everybody went where the fucking people went, and refused any idea of individuality or learning beyond how society deems you to learn. There's tons of examples of this, but just the idea of blanket thoughts, just a general thought process that permeates all of society, is the opposite of what we should be doing with life. It's quite the thing, because ego plays a large part in this. And ego doesn't want you to progress because it's scary. Ego wants you to stay within the comfort, even if comfort is miserable. Even if comfort is, I'm going to get on Twitter and I'm going to have a go at the fucking Muslims, or I'm going to get behind the fucking anti-trans thing, and it, you know, stuff that means fuck all to you. But it's the company's there, you know, it's a big gang. And it's a bit like when you were a kid at school. People would want to go and hang out with the bullies just because it'd be safer than standing up for yourself. You know, God forbid, learning how to look after yourself. So yeah, I don't want to go where the people go, because people are a fucking disappointment. I don't like them. I don't like the way people behave. I think it's not just a generalized thing. It's all through the world and all through history. You've seen people just holding on to ugly traits based on the previous generation, you know, and they're just dragging along these ugly traits like racism and homophobia, xenophobia, almost like it's some kind of fucking medal to hold on to. So I think the human race in general likes things to be negative, dark, the kind of environment in which it's impossible to progress. So every time I'm talking to someone, how do you want to change your life? You've got to make some big fucking changes. And like we've already established, change is one of the biggest, if not the biggest fear for humans. They don't like the idea of having to go and change things because it's scary. Even though someone says, yeah, but you're guaranteed to benefit. Yeah, but it's scary. I'd rather stick with the cunts that I hang out with and the bullshit that I talk online. I don't want to go where the people go. I don't even want them to go where the fucking people go. I think I had the wrong idea when I was younger of what people are and what they're capable of. And I used to believe in socialism. I used to believe that there was a chance for peace, for a universal consciousness that would go all around the world, that everyone would start caring. And it was just so fucking naive. The only way that you can find happiness is to break away from all of that. Get rid of all of the people in your life that make you feel shit or just talk crap. Anyone who gossips, fucking ditch them. Get rid of them. Honestly, you won't miss them. I know you think you'll be lonely, but you won't be. It'll be the dark night of the soul for a very short amount of time, and then you'll start attracting people that are matching your energy. And if you don't do that, you run the risk of matching their energy, which is kind of impossible not to do. And then you're perpetrating negativity, which is never going to help you grow and do anything. So yeah, Maddie, I don't want to go anywhere where the fucking people go. I'm happy being by myself in the countryside where the sheep go. Ricky Cox asks, I wonder, is the uncut version of the Love Bank video available anywhere? Up until a while ago, I heard that it was available on YouTube. I don't know. I'm going to ask producer Phil if he'll look that up. the Love Bank uncut, but I heard that it slipped through there and no one had actually taken it off. But I don't know if it is available anywhere. I will tell you though that it was one of the better ideas I ever had. I mean, obviously the record company were mortified. The girl that was in charge of the video company give me a budget to make a video, and I made a porn movie, and she was in tears. And back now, I feel bad that I upset her, but I'm so proud that we did that because it got more coverage in all of the papers and it never got shown, which went against everything that the experts were telling me. If it doesn't get shown, it won't do you any good. It fucking did. Red light, green light, the same. That got us loads of coverage and fucking didn't get anywhere. No one wanted to play it. So yeah, kicking against the system can really work dividends, but it also means that other people have been proven to be full of shit, and I like that about it. But it really did us a lot of good, that one. As you can imagine, it was fun to make, watching people shagging and sticking themselves. Oh, it's still there. It says this video may be inappropriate for some users. Inappropriate. There's a girl sticking a Mars bar up a fanny. Fucking hell. Check it out. It's fun. But it was a great day, obviously, as you can imagine. Fun day, and fun being the operative term. We didn't ask anyone to do anything. We just got a bunch of people that, existed in that kind of underworld of burlesque and the Torture Garden in London and all people like that we kind of knew, and asked them, just come and do anything. And they're like, anything? Can I pull some love beads out my anus? Yep, you certainly can. And they did. It's a fucking great video. If it's on YouTube, honestly, go and check it out. If you haven't seen it, if that kind of thing, if the idea of a girl sticking a chocolate bar inside herself offends you, don't check it out, obviously. But there was no exploitation there. We asked people, do whatever you want to do, and they did. And that, again, that's why, leaving the pack, leaving just the natural status quo of society, and being an outcast and finding your tribe. There's a lot of fucking gold in there, and I've always looked for my tribe. I've always found solace in the outcasts of society, and had some of the best times in my life because of that. And it's, yeah. And on that note, I will say, yeah, be an outcast. Don't go where the people go. Go where you want to go, where your vibe is telling you should go. And it's a little bit of hard work, getting a healthy body, a bit hard work, but not as hard as getting old and creaky and achy and fucking drinking all the time and being hungover. That's fucking hard work. Scoring drugs every day, that's hard work. Life's going to be hard work, whatever you do. Do something nice for your body. Do something nice. Do something today that's going to benefit tomorrow, and you can't go wrong. I hope you do take note of this. I hope you do find your tribe, and I hope you continue to enjoy the podcast. Do tell us, because we really, really enjoy your feedback, positive or negative. Thank you very much for another one of these. I'll see you very soon. Love you all. God bless.